Blog Talk Radio.
You are now listening to the Evolution Hour with hosts Rob Gauthier and George Farakis. Hey everybody, this is the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. This is Rob.
And this is George.
And we are here today with a very, very, very wonderful and special guest, Daniel Scranton. For those of you who do not know, he is also a channeler like myself, but he channels a collective consciousness known as the Creators. He lives in Ojai, California. He's been a conscious verbaler channel for almost 3 years. He's worked publicly with the entities known as the Creators, which are 12th dimensional light beings whose purpose is to help humanity. And it's wonderful, turbulent, and times of dimensional shift. They're here to help us do all of that, and it's so, so exciting. But before we get to that, we have a couple things to go through, our normally daily routine. We're here tonight, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. That's 6 p.m. Pacific, like we are every Wednesday night for the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. We're here to help you guys out. We're here to raise the collective consciousness by any means possible, and this is done by sharing information, sharing love, sharing energy, sharing details, things that are so extraordinary to each one of us in our own life. Tell us a little bit, brother, about the things that have been going. Before we get to that, let's talk about something that we've got on the line coming up here lately. We have a few things coming up. October 27th, there is a simultaneous channeling event that I'll be working with at the Awakening Truth Worldwide and ConsciousMatrix.com, and it is the Cosmic Panel Mind, Body, and Spirit event. This is going to be myself, Brad Johnson, and Wendy Kennedy, all three doing simultaneous channeling. I'm going to be putting a video up on YouTube very, very soon, and this is going to be October 27th, 12 p.m. Pacific. It's a very, very great show. It's a $20 admission, and for that you get the whole time, plus to be able to repeat. There's a lot of things. You can listen to that, more about that on my video when I put it up on YouTube in the next day or so. So keep your eyes out for the Treb Bor Yit NE YouTube video. But more so, based in this show and in this environment, in 2 weeks from today, that will be that'll be the 9th of October. The 9th of October, we will be here having a very, very special event as well. We're also having another guest on the 9th, and that'll be Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson's going to be coming on here, and he'll be here on the 9th, and we're going to be able to have a chance to talk with him. A dronist can come in and talk to you guys, take your questions, and that's what we're doing tonight. Everyone, please, if you're on the call line, we're going to be holding the call till after we talk to Daniel, and then we'll be able to add a few things back and forth. When he comes in to the channeler from the Creators, that's when we'll be taking calls so you guys can talk to the Creators yourself. Now, brother, anything that's going on, what's going on with you? What's going on this week? What's been going on around the world that you've been hearing about?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for having Daniel Scranton on tonight. I'm so excited to hear what he has to say about his experiences, and the way he channels is so beautiful. And I know that our listeners will really enjoy that. It's not too much going on my end. Just really excited about all of the wonderful energies coming to the earth and shaking things up a little bit. It's kind of exciting and a little could be painful at times, but we have to look at it in a positive way. So I'm kind of excited about that. And again, just excited to be here with you, brother, and expand the consciousness of the collective.
Absolutely, brother, and that's why I think Daniel Scranton is a very great guest. He doesn't have just information about channeling as well. He's very insightful. He's a very, very kind person. I've had the opportunity to talk to him several times now, and we've talked about a variety of things, and he's a very, very great guy. Very sweet, very loving, very in tune, and I guess that's the best segue overall. How are you doing, Daniel? Are you with us here?
I'm still here.
All right.
All right, Daniel.
Why don't you tell everyone, Daniel, a little bit about how you got here? If you can talk about your story, about your journey here. I think that's one of the most important things for people to hear about channelers, people who are in their spiritual work, but most of all, your personal spiritual journey, because that's really what gives us all inspiration, is hearing how other people have made it from A to B or A to Z and everything that goes between it. Can you give us a general idea about how you got to become a channeler, how you got connected with the creators?
Well, I'll give you a really abridged version of my spiritual journey, which will include that. So, I was born and raised Catholic. I went to church every Sunday, went to catechism. I was a believer. I went to Catholic high school. I, continued on that track, and I really, really felt scared of God and didn't think I was doing a good enough job at being a Christian, and was just, just had a really difficult relationship with all of that, with myself, with Catholicism, with God. I never really had any sort of fear or anything of a negative nature when it came to Jesus, however. That was one area where it was always God that I was afraid of. And just afraid of doing something wrong, and displeasing God. And so eventually, that led to me becoming an atheist. It was a very gradual thing. I went to college at Boston University. I studied psychology. I got the impression from my classes that, the Bible was just a collection of myths, just like, any other book. I've learned a lot more since then about a lot of the truth that's in the Bible. But anyway, that led to my becoming an atheist. And then when I was an atheist, I wasn't searching at all. I wasn't looking for answers. I wasn't, I just figured we died and we went in the ground and that was it. And that thought was so bad feeling to me that I just didn't think about it. So eventually I stumbled upon a recording of Tony Robbins interviewing Deepak Chopra. Actually, this is something I had to listen to for this technical writing job that I got. But when I heard it, it really spoke to me. Deepak really spoke to me. I was really into natural living and raw foods, and Deepak seemed to have share a belief with me about the body's ability to recover from anything on its own. And so that's what got me into Deepak. And it just so turns out he was the perfect teacher for me at that time, because he's so scientific-minded and he's a medical doctor, and that was the viewpoint I was coming from. And so his work really spoke to me. And then from there, I just gobbled up all the information I could from all the different teachers I could, Yogananda, Ram Dass, Wayne Dyer. I got into the books on Findhorn, Scotland, which was a community where they were working with nature spirits and devas and doing all sorts of amazing things. And then eventually I got to the Conversations with God book. Books, actually. I read them all. They just were like candy to me. I just devoured them. And then someone said to me, and this was really unexpected, this was like my first ever spiritual teacher, she said to me, "Oh, so you like channeled material?" And I didn't even think of conversations with God as being channeled material. I didn't even have a clear idea of what channeled material was. But she recommended some books to me. I read them. On the back of one of those books, there was a mention of the Seth material. And I said, well, I guess I'm going to check out the Seth material now. So then I got completely engrossed in all the Seth books and loved them. And then from there, somebody talked me into checking out Abraham. And I got so into Abraham. Oh, my gosh. I was traveling all over the world to go to their workshops and cruises, and met a lot of wonderful people through that community. And, just was so into anything channeled. I loved Bashar, and then Wendy Kennedy, who I'm excited to hear for you that you guys are going to be working, or at least Rob and Brad will be working with her. That's wonderful.
Yes.
And Nora Harold. And I know Nora and Wendy now personally, and they're beautiful people, and they've been great mentors and guides for me on my process. But I guess I still haven't gotten to the point where I talk about my own channeling. So did you guys have a question in there somewhere?
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
I think you're answering a lot of them as you go.
All right. So, during my path there, I became certified in Reiki, and occasionally I would do Reiki on people, and I was doing Reiki on my massage therapist one day, and I just noticed that involuntarily my hands and arms started to move, like windshield wipers, and then my head started to move in the figure eight, like you've seen Stevie Wonder do the figure eight with his head. And I think Ray Charles did that too, which is interesting to me. And then I noticed that my mouth would move, and I would even have like whispering sounds, but they weren't words coming out. And this was all just while doing Reiki. And that's when I first began to suspect that I might be channeling soon, or that there was a being or beings that wanted to make that connection with me and do that work. And so I from there I didn't really do anything else other than continue to meditate and do Reiki. And I've been a chronic meditator for I'd say about 14 years. I taught myself how to meditate. I didn't even know that that's what it was, but I just knew that I felt better after I sat or laid down and counted my breath. And so that's how I got into meditating, and been doing it ever since. And I did have an experience in the middle of the night, March of 2010, where I believe I received an upgrade, or like a system upgrade for my physical form, because I woke up from a dream. In the dream, there was another man, and I said to that man, "I understand now about the other beings." And that was it. That was the entire dream. And I woke up from that, and I felt tingly sensation, and then I felt energy moving from my head all the way down through my body to my feet. And it was like being scanned, but it was also quite orgasmic. It was ecstasy to the nth degree. I don't have anything else in my life to compare it to. It was just so amazingly good feeling. And so I was begging for more of this energy. I just laid there, and I talked to it. I started asking it questions. I got the impression that this was related to the dream, and that this was the other beings that I was referring to in the dream. And then I got huge amounts of energy when I made that realization and started talking to them and asking them questions. If the answer was yes, I would get another jolt of energy. And so I didn't even know how long this went on for, but eventually it stopped. And I got up, and I thought my life would be completely different from that point forward. And it was, and it has been, but it wasn't immediate. You know, after that, I became more interested in going deeper into my meditations. I was really interested in feeling that energy again in my body. And eventually, during one of those deep meditations, I started to dry heave, you know, like you're about to throw up, that sensation. Yeah. And that really got me thinking about channeling as a possibility, you know. And at this point, you know, I'm knee deep in channeled material. You know, I've read it, listened to it, been to workshops, and so I knew all about it. But I never suspected that I was going to do it. So that's an interesting piece here, and it's funny too because after I started channeling, a lot of people came up to me and said, "Oh, I knew that this is something that you wanted for a very long time," and I didn't consciously know that I wanted it for a very long time, but it happened, and I just continued to work with that energy, and I sat with people who had questions, and I'll tell you what, guys, I don't know if this was your experience, Rob, but at first, you know, no words came out. It was just like being gripped by energy for me, and having a lot of movement in my body, but eventually sounds came, and then phonetic sounds, you know, like vowels and consonants, and then eventually I spoke, and that, like I said, was almost 3 years ago, and I started to channel for people right away. Anyone who wanted to ask questions, and I didn't get the name the creators right away. I had sort of a working title for the energy that was Grandpa. It was a former girlfriend of mine came up with that, and eventually I did get the creators, and that they were 12th dimensional, and I always knew they were a collective, and they always spoke with the we and our and all that stuff. So, that's how I got to where I am today. So, I left you speechless, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, too. I know that when you said, and thank you, too, about the Wendy Kennedy thing, too. It's very exciting for me. I know she's very big into channeling. Yes, she's absolutely great.
I love Wendy's work. I have downloaded every single one of her recordings off of her website and listened to it several times. She's wonderful. And a really kind, sweet person.
Yeah, both Wendy and Nora are just wonderful channelers and have just a delightful disposition, don't they?
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. Well, the question that I wanted to ask for you, or actually you had asked me a question if it was the same way. For me, it was a little different with Treb. The experience I had is I never channeled him first. I only connected to him in a deep meditative state, like an astral projected state, and we conversated back and forth for 2 years, and then I decided, hey, I want to share this with everybody. So me and him kind of worked on it, and I was able to do it after only a few weeks of practice. It was really rough. It was really slow. The communication was rough, but it just built more and more. But I had my chance to experience them in a different way than a lot of other people who I've heard talk about the channelers. But that's one thing, too. In my experience, when I first met Treb, he'd given me information. And I asked him after the first time I met him, I came back to him and I said, how do I know that you're real? And he led me to a person, and he said, don't tell him about me, just talk to him, and you'll find the answer. So I talked to my friend, and he had me watch this video about UFOs, and the Seth material came up. And I talked about that a little bit, about how the cess material was about the only thing that could have came to me at that time that would have been reasonable. The law of one and the cess material were both mentioned, and the law of one is what they were basing a lot of their information on, and I didn't listen to that part. When they said second to none to the cess material in the 60s, that's all they said about that when they were spending like 40 minutes on the law of one, and that's what I checked out. I was drawn to that one. And I now know that if I wouldn't have been able to accept the law of one at that point because it was so much more based in on collective consciousness, ET, universal things, instead of just simplicity of how consciousness and the universe itself works. And that's kind of what led me to that. And you said that cess material and the conversations with God, those were your two big ones when you first started connecting in and reading books and stuff. How did those two sets of works change your whole perception on existence, or did it change, and if so, how?
Well, I just felt so happy. I mean, I woke up. You know, it was amazing to know that I was an aspect of all it is, and that everyone else was too. And I just feel that what really shifted in me was I just began to love animals, nature, children, you know, I began to love life in a way that I never had before. They were just, I mean, I just don't even know how to explain how much they affect. I knew that I had to be doing something that I love to do for work. I became clear about that. I asked the woman that I was living with at the time to marry me, because that was another thing, because I knew that I had this resistance to the concept of marriage, and I wanted to release my resistance to things, you know. So that was another big shift in my personal development, is just understanding that we are all one and we're all connected, and it just gives you an entirely different way of being in the world, you know. So, yeah.
Oh, that's great, Daniel. Daniel, when you started having these initial feelings doing the Reiki, was it the energy that you were putting out that really put you in the state of being?
I did. I had an experience where I was giving a woman Reiki one night. It was a beautiful night. We were on an Abraham cruise together, actually, and I just wanted to help her out because she had a sore back, and you know, I just noticed that she couldn't sit comfortably at dinner, and I felt energy that night for the very first time in my body. It made me gasp. I also realized after we had finished that my hands had moved by themselves off of her body, so that was another thing that I had never experienced before. But yeah, I would say that I didn't necessarily feel the energy in my body by doing Reiki in the way that I do when I channel. Now, if I do Reiki now, which I sometimes do, I did go all the way with the Reiki and became a Reiki master. And if I do give someone energy work, let's call it that, because I for one just never really. I never really bought into some of what was being taught in the Reiki classes, and you know, I just wanted to do it for the fun of it, for the experience of it. But I do believe that everyone has this ability. It's not like one school has, you know, keys to the energy, and we all can heal, or we all can offer healing energy. We don't ever heal anyone. Obviously, they choose to allow that energy to flow or not. But we can certainly hold space for someone. And when I do that now, it's a similar experience as when I channel. And there will be a lot of tones and sounds that come out of me when I do hands-on healing work, movement and all the similar things as when I'm channeling, but I don't speak. I might speak a language of light, which I think I have my own language of light, which is unique to me because I've never heard anyone else speak it. It's possible that there are other people speaking it, but
sure.
That's another piece that I left out of my story. That language started to come through in May of 2011 when I was receiving a massage. I just started. I already had been channeling, but I had never channeled in tongues or, I had never spoken words others that weren't English. And I began to channel this language, and it's still with me today. It comes through occasionally, but if I'm doing breath work, I have a wonderful friend here in Ojai named Jennifer Wilson, and she's such a gifted healer, and she has done breath work with me in groups. She's led the groups where I've done breath work. And if I really get into some conscious deep breathing, I channel all sorts of languages and tones and things that I have no idea what they are, what they mean. But it sure is funny. And people who are in, breathwork classes with me will crack up, and, it's really fun. I love playing with this energy or these energies and all the different beings that are coming through and that are here to assist us at this time. I'm just having a ball with all of them.
Oh, that's great, Daniel. Did they ever try to decipher what kind of language it was, like a Sanskrit or something?
No, it's definitely. I don't think it's ever been a language that's been spoken by people on this planet. I think it's what I think it is, and this I got from Nora Harold, who I also work with. She offers private sessions, and I've been doing private sessions with Nora for almost 2 years now. And that's been hugely great for my life. I mean, she's just been such a wonderful teacher for me. And she said that when I speak those languages, I'm getting codes, and I'm just not able to decipher those codes yet into English. But it's I mean, when we receive energy transmissions from other beings, none of them speak English. I'm sure you guys are aware of that.
Right.
Actually, that's not true. I'm sure there are some who may just be, disincarnate beings or beings who have lived on planet Earth and then passed that did speak English. But a lot of us are connecting to beings that do not speak English, and so we have to translate what we're getting into English. And I think that's one of the more troubling aspects of channeling for channels is feeling like, am I just making this up? Because, because it's like that I'm speaking my language, my vocabulary, words that I use, but it's just an interpretation that we're making of the energy, and that's why every channel is different, and that's why channeled information can be vastly different, because it's coming through a person who has to translate it, plain and simple.
Absolutely, and that energy work that you were talking about too, the energy breathing, things like that. That brings me to a very question that I've been coming up with for the last couple days. I've thought about talking to you, and you have a very interesting connection process, as do I. There are not many people who use resonant tuning for their connection process. Can you walk us through a little bit about your process? First, explain, for those of you who haven't seen it, can you kind of explain what that process is and what you're doing and how you're connecting to the material?
Everyone who's listening is going to get a taste, because when I get the creators later, when I connect with them, those tones are coming through, and that is part. Not only is it part of the connection process, but those are channeled. I did not know how to make those sounds by myself. And it's funny because I wanted to learn how to do overtones and throat singing and all sorts of fun stuff. And I was okay. I'll back up a little bit now. When I very early on in my channeling, I started to repeat the words "sing" and "ring," or "singing" and "ringing" over and over and over, to the point where eventually I said, okay, I'm going to go take voice lessons. That seems to be what the message is here. So let me go play around with my voice some. And I did, and I had a great time. And then my teacher, who's a very spiritual woman, she told me one day, like, hey, do you want to do some chakra toning before we start? And I was all for that, so we did the chakra toning, and I still, to this day, do that chakra toning. In fact, after this interview tonight, I have people coming over to my house, and we're going to tone together, because I've been doing a toning group here in Ohio for 6 months now. So anyway, I said to my teacher, I want to learn to do overtones and throat singing, because I heard Wendy channel the Pleaidians, the ninth dimensional Pleaidian collective, and they talk about making tones and sounds and the power of tone and sound, how the universe was created, and pyramids, and all this great stuff on tone and sound. So I was really interested in doing some of that myself. And I said to my voice coach, Kimberly, that I wanted to do that, and she's like, great, but I don't know how to do it, so I don't know how to teach you how to do it. And basically, the creators took over from there, and I began to make those overtone sounds, and now it's become... I don't know if it's how I connect with them. I don't know if it's. I've had a person who's witnessed me channel, who's a clairvoyant, say that she could see that the toning was opening up like a portal and creating that connection. But I did used to also connect to the traders before I made those sounds. I just that was, very early on, I would just repeat singing and ringing and ring and sing over and over and over as I was connecting. And then I spoke that language I was talking about that started to come through on a massage table. When I was receiving massage and, in such a heightened state of, I just am so good at receiving massage. I mean, I get so tuned in when I put all of my focus on what the massage therapist is doing. It's really a wonderful practice. I completely recommend to anyone listening, get massage, give massage, make tones and sounds with your voice, sing in the shower, sing in the car, these are all very spiritual practices that can lead to incredible breakthroughs like the one that I had. And so I made those, I would speak the language of light for a while when I was tuning in to the creators. And now it's just this series of overtones that I bring through, and that are very similar every time I do them, but I'm sure that there's some difference each time as well. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's really it's really a great gate that you have, Daniel, when you're tuning in like that. Is it? I was just wondering, is it possible when you for us today? Is it possible for you to do a little bit of the speaking as well?
Oh, well, that never comes through intentionally. It's always something that just pops in there. So maybe it will. It's not a language. The language that I've been speaking for about 2.5 years, that's not a language that at this point has that many words in it. I think when I first started coming through, I spoke many more of those words, and then eventually they got pared down, and now I really only speak a few when they come through. But I can give you an example of what they are. So one of the words is nuka, and that word is one of the more common ones. And so I actually named one of my cats Nuka when her mother gave birth to her. I had a cat that had kittens, and I named one of them Nuka. And another word is Nika. I named another one of the kittens Nika, and that one got adopted. And Anakana was another word that came through a lot. A lot of variations like Tika and Tuka. So there are just a lot of variations on those types of sounds would come through, but I can't even remember more of them at this point. It's been so long.
Absolutely. Well, that's one thing I want to ask, too. I know there's many callers who are online waiting to take the calls, and we will get to the channeling here in a minute. There's just a couple more questions me and George wanted to ask Daniel before we get to that. One of my questions was, as Treb comes through and you ask him, who are you, Treb? He always represents himself as a fifth density reptilian hybrid, a type 1 entity, which is a positive entity, one who is benevolent, instead of malevolent.
I thought maybe I heard the wrong thing there.
Yeah. That was me misspeaking there.
It's funny that you made that little verbal profile there, because I think, and I know actually, and you're aware of this too, that the reptilians have a bad name, but a lot of people think reptilians, ooh, scary, but the reptilians are aspects of ourselves. We can't separate ourselves from anyone in the universe. Everyone is love and light, and we're all just playing out different roles. But So anyway, continue.
Yes, well, I appreciate that. That's great too, because it's so true, and a lot of time those two words go hand in hand, and I appreciate that very much. And my question for you is, when you talk to the creators, have they ever given you an understanding of what it is to be 12th dimensional, what their existence is like? If so, what part of the universe? I know they're a collective, so they're probably in a larger place. I mean, what personal type of information do they give you about them as a collective in their environment?
Well, I haven't asked that myself. My understanding is that the 12th dimension is a realm where the angelics exist, the Yeshua frequency exists, and universal planners like the creators exist. And, I just assume they're up there, sending love to all of us and, creating new universes and I don't know, like playing ping pong or something.
Well, it's just a switch of terms, because when Treb goes through, he describes it in densities, and then dimensions mean other. And I know these words are exchanged by every entity, and most of all, it's more of what the meaning to the channeler is instead of the channel itself, and that's how it has to be translated. But, you know, a lot of people get confused about what this dimensional, what is an 11th or 12th dimensional, what's a fifth density. So I didn't know if they'd given you any information. And sorry about that, brother. I know you were going to ask a question as well. Sorry about that.
No, that's exactly what I was going to ask, that same question about the origins of the creators and what they represent in terms of their perspective on the consciousness of themselves.
Yeah, I mean,
do they ever talk about their history?
No, I mean, one thing that I have gotten is that all time is simultaneous, of course, and all of our oversouls have foci, multiple focuses in all the different dimensions and in many different forms. And so I'm a physical being here in the fourth dimension, and my belief is, and I got this not necessarily while channeling, more like just asking those types of questions and seeing what I got in my knowingness, in my intuition. And
sure.
So I'm certain that there's an aspect of my oversoul that's in the creators, and there's an aspect of my oversoul that's in me as Daniel. So
sure.
There's that connection, that we all have to the beings that we channel. My understanding also from that line of questioning is that a lot of the beings that are here with me now, that I bump around with in the physical, are also members of that collective in that dimension. So it's difficult to really think even about history at this point, because we're leaving the whole concept of linear time behind.
Right.
Everything is now, and everything is just different. Everything is just a different aspect or perspective of the same one being. So, we can create a lot of different stories, but those stories can change as we change, and we shift to different timelines and different parallel universes and all this stuff that's going on. So I think the important thing really about the creators, and I get this from people, that this is one of the things that keeps me going as a channel, is that the energetic transmission that comes through me when I'm linked up with the creators, people respond to that more than anything else. They respond to the love. They respond to the frequency that's being transmitted, and I'm just always blown away by the response that people give me, and I know now from my own experience, from my training with Nora, that's really the most important thing, is that transmission. And that's what has the ultimate long-lasting effects on people. The words and the stories and all that, those are great for keeping the mind occupied. But it gets people interested. What comes through verbally, but it's really about the energetic.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you anymore, and that's the same with the Treb experience. Same with a lot of good, well-connected channelers out there. The entity who brings it through, the channeler themselves and the channel, are less important than the energy and the connection of that energy to the people who are connecting, and that's very, very important. And that I guess that in itself would bring us to the point of, if you are ready, we would love to meet the creators. We've got several people online waiting with calls in, so if you'd like to get ready. Is there anything you want to explain about your process before you start, or you just want to jump right in?
Well, just very practically and logistically here, I want to, because we were talking before the show and doing a little sound check, and you were saying that my voice was loud, and now if I just drop into the state that I usually do and the tones start coming through, I just want to make sure that you guys are prepared for that. Sound-wise, or I can always take my headset off and put it back on after they come in.
Oh, that's fine. I think you're sounding great.
Yeah, just let her go, Daniel. You'll be fine. I'm sure everybody's familiar. Yeah.
Before you jump in, though, one last thing I forgot to ask you. I know that you're doing several things out there right now. You've got a lot of upcoming events. Also, your website is www.danielscranton.com, correct?
Yes, and if people don't know how to spell Scranton, it's the same as Scranton, Pennsylvania. So that's easy, right? So Daniel, like the book in the Bible, and Scranton, like the town in Pennsylvania. Yep. So I got a webinar coming up next Tuesday. It's at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 2 p.m. Eastern, and the reason we're doing it in the middle of the day is for people in Europe, so that they can, enjoy some of the creators and the webinars that we do, and so that's the event I have to plug is next Tuesday. And you go on the website.
How do you get signed up for it?
Well, you go on the website and there's a tab that says webinar, and if people click on that, they can easily register for the webinar.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is there anything else you wanted to tell us before we get started about upcoming events or anything that's going on with you?
Just that we, and if you go to the website and you throw your email address in there, you'll get a quote from the creators every day. I should say almost every day, because almost every day I'm able to take that time to make, channel the creators, transcribe it, make a little YouTube video, and put it up there on the website. And so people will get emails, those every day, and they'll be aware of all the upcoming events that I have. And what else? Oh, and anyone who wants to friend me on Facebook, I post everything on Facebook, too, that I do, and the quotes are posted there. And you can easily find me if you're friends with Rob or George, because I'm friends with both those guys. So.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Daniel.
And your YouTube channel also, Daniel Scranton, if you type that in, or the creators, Daniel Scranton, then YouTube, you'll be able to find.
If you type in the creators and Daniel Scranton, you'll find my channel. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you too, Daniel, for sharing that. I'm really excited to hear from the creators too, and I appreciate you sharing. Everyone who's out there who enjoys this channeling, or if you're already aware of Daniel Scranton, supporting the people who give this workout. He gives a lot of free workout, a lot of free quotes. He does this out of the kindness of his heart too, just like we do this show. So supporting the people who give through the work is something that we always suggest. And thank you again, Daniel. And whenever you're ready, bud, we're ready for you.
All right, here we go.
for you. It is lovely for us to be able to connect with all of you in this way. And we are delighted to be making our debut on the radio. So we are excited to hear from those who wish to connect with us. And so let us get right to it.
Well, thank you, creators, too. Me and George both say hello also. George, if you want to say...
Yes, creators, it's a pleasure to meet with your energy today at this time. And we look forward to for you expressing your love and light to our listeners, and excited to have you on our show. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. We do have a question for you from a caller from the 951 area code. 951, who do we have with us this evening? 951.
Hi, it's Sharon McCormick.
Hey, Sharon, how you doing?
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, how's everybody?
Good.
Doing great. What question do you have for the creators this evening?
In the Be Who You Are, Love Yourself, or something like that, you said that when we move up to the next level, that we'll have new challenges. I just wondered if you had some, you could give an example.
Okay. Well, imagine yourself now at a restaurant, and you are given the menu, and on the menu there are so many delicious things that you want to eat that you are having a difficult time deciding on just one. That is similar to the type of challenge you will be faced with when you have so many choices that you must select from many that are very appealing to you. And when it comes to the type of choices that you will be making, there will be different experiences. So you will be able to see what experiences are available to you from where you stand, and you will have to choose. So that is one of the challenges. Now, you will be able to bilocate and possibly eventually you will even be able to create more and more versions of yourself to explore these different experiences more fully, but you will still have to choose. There will be that moment when you are deciding between so many choices that are equally as enticing to you.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you, Sharon, too.
Thank you, Sharon.
See y'all. Bye.
Bye. And we have another question for you, too, coming from the 480 area code. That's 480. Sorry about that. 480, who do we have with us this evening?
Hi, this is Anya. How are you guys?
Hi, Anya. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Good, great. I have a question. Since I was born, I did have very strange situations happening in my life. First of all, I was born 1 month premature. My mom has been pushed on the stairs. There was nobody there, so I was in incubator for over a month. I was 5 years old. I got burned my front body. And then when I was a little bit older, the same thing happened. I almost lost my life for a third time, and I am keeping being alive. There has been a lot of struggles in my life like anybody else, but in my case, I have been losing everything, whatever I have. And my question is, I always felt like I do not belong here, but for the same, it's kind of hard to explain it, but I feel like I am supposed to be here. I don't know what's going on with me. Why am I here, and why those things are happening to me? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Angell.
Thank you, Angell.
Well, first of all, we want you to reframe the way that you are looking at this, because when you say, why are things happening to me, you take on victim consciousness. And we understand that in your reality, you have set it up that way so that it looks a lot like someone else is doing something to you, or circumstances are happening in your life that are outside of your control, because these are not experiences that you would choose from the ego consciousness, but these are choices that you have made. These are circumstances that you wanted to explore, and you had a desire to be a change maker, a way shower, a light worker. You wanted to be on the leading edge and to be able to help others in their journeys. And in order to do this, you felt that it would be a very good idea to give yourself very specific challenges that you would then be able to show yourself the ability that you have to transcend these challenges and to learn about yourself, your power, your strength, your creatorhood. And then you would be able to pass on that knowledge, that first-hand knowledge to others. So that is why you created these unique challenges to yourself. And the fact that you are listening to the likes of us and Rob and George's show indicate to us that you are awake, that you are aware, that you know who you are, and that you understand that you create your reality as an aspect of source energy. And when you get to that point in your life, then you are realizing your power and your gifts, and you are then able to translate that into frequency. And the frequency that you want to offer will be of a very high vibration. You will be offering frequencies that will create the reality that you want to experience, and then you will be able to show others how to do it.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you, too, for your question and call.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All
yes.
right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a good one. All right. The next caller we have is the 352 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
Hey, this is me. Hello.
Hi, Savita. How are you doing?
Hi, Savita. How are you?
I am good. How you guys are doing?
Good.
Doing good. Doing great. Do you have a question this evening for the creators?
I can ask a question, but if you have a long queue of the people, then I would let other people use their question.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're the one who's in line now. Go ahead with your question, sister. It's perfect timing.
Okay. Hello, Creator.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming here on Earth and helping us.
Yes, it is our pleasure.
Okay. May I ask you, can you read the energy of people like Treb does?
We prefer that you give us something that you are wanting to know about, because it is very helpful for you to ask the question. It helps you recognize where you are coming from. Sometimes in just asking the question, you get the answer yourself. So we prefer when you are able to verbalize something, even if it is not a question, even if it is just a description of something that is happening in your life. And then we will assist you in finding the answer that you already have.
Thank you. I just want to know where are my blockages and what I can do about it so that I can vibrate at my highest frequency.
Okay. Well, we are aware of this question and this concern in so many of you. And we want to help you first by letting you know that you do not need to identify blockages. You do not need to go looking for trouble in your energetic field or your chakras or your past lives. You do not need to dig up all of that stuff so that you can then shine your light on it and melt it or make it go away or transmute it. None of that is necessary for you to live happily ever after, because the more you go looking for things, the more you will find them. There are so many layers for all of you to peel back that you will find yourselves getting lost when you take that approach in all of the muck and the mire that has been accumulated over countless lifetimes. So instead, what we would suggest to you is that you simply intend to let go of anything at all that is no longer of service to you. And we are very precise in our wording there of that, because sometimes you may have a limitation on your life that you may not enjoy very much. You may not like having this limitation on your life, but the limitation that you have may serve you greatly in ways that you do not understand at this time. So we would ask you also to look at all of your limitations and ask yourself, how is this serving me? How is it that my lack of energy or my lack of employment or my lack of being in the romantic relationship that I want to be in, how is this serving me? What is it that I could possibly be gaining from this? Because we will assure you of this. There is nothing that is created by you, for you, that is not in some way leading you to a better life, a better situation, but it also is serving you, and the first step for you in clearing what you want to clear is by allowing yourself that freedom to look for the service and the benefit in everything in your life. We're not saying that you should pretend that you feel happy about a situation that you really do not feel happy about. In fact, we would caution you against doing something like that. So if you feel sad, if you feel lonely, then feel sad and feel lonely, but at the same time ask yourself, how does this situation serve me? And perhaps you will be able to find something that then will bring you to that place where you can change your vibration and you can offer the frequency that will bring you to the desired experience for yourself. And we would also ask that you keep in mind that everyone is connected in this reality. And when you make an intention for yourself, we also want you to take into consideration everyone else that you are connected to, and ask that they also be given the same circumstances that you desire. But we want to frame it in a different way here. So you may say that you want to live in a mansion up on a hill somewhere, and then so you may think, well, not everyone can live in a mansion up on a hill. There are only so many of those. So instead, we want you to seek out the frequency of home and to feel for that frequency and desire that frequency for everyone in the collective, so that they may also experience it as well. And when you do that, you simply include yourself in the collective, so that you are all having the same wonderful experience that you want to have. So we know that went off on a bit of a tangent there, but we just wanted to get all of that in for you. So we thank you for your question, and we hope that our perspective was of service to you.
Well, thank you for that beautiful answer, and thank you too, sister, for the wonderful question in the call. And we love you very dearly, sister. And we'll go to the next question. And thanks again, Savita. We love you.
Thanks,
Savita.
Thank you.
Very good question.
Yeah!
Thank you.
All right. We have one more caller at the 505 that we'll take the question from. 505, who do we have with us this evening?
Hi, my name is Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Hello.
Hi, Patricia.
Hello. I have a question for you, and thank you so much for doing a reading for me. I have been doing a lot of astral travel in my dreams, and I've been doing a lot of healing of strangers, babies, and plants. And I feel like I'm doing all my work in the astral travel land when I go to sleep. And I was just wondering if this is really true and if this was supposed to be happening to me in this lifetime.
Well, of course, you created this experience for yourself in this lifetime. This is not an accident, and it serves you very well to experience this particular type of travel and that particular type of work that you do when you travel, because you have so much more freedom when you are traveling in the astral plane, and you're able to connect with so many more beings and have that first-hand experience of what it is like to intend for someone else to be well and to hold the space for those individuals and to see the fruits of your labor, so that when you do wake up from these experiences and you are going about your day as a physicalized expression, you take back the knowledge that you gained during those experiences so that you can bring that vibration of the astral plane to this fourth dimensional reality that is quite physical at this time, and to use what you have learned from the astral plane to broaden your skills and your abilities to do that type of work here. So you are going to merge more and more with that experience in the astral plane and the experience that you have in the physical plane. You are going to see your abilities broadening, and you are going to be able to reach so many more individuals because you are having these experiences at night that are teaching you and honing your skills. And many of you are actually doing this and are unaware of those journeys and of those lessons because it does not necessarily serve all of you to remember it consciously when you wake up. But for you in particular, this is a part of that overall blueprint, that overall plan that you have for yourself. And that is why you are remembering, and that is why you can take that information and without knowing how to do it consciously, you can translate some of what you are doing into a physical reality where you can assist others in the same way. Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful answer. And also thank you. For the wonderful question and the call. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, and have a good evening.
Thanks.
To end off the session and the conversation with you, I think it would be best fitting if you would like to ask the last question for us, brother.
Yeah, I'm speaking currently to many people, both male and female, and they seem to be experiencing many relationship problems. And I was hoping if you could explain to us why at this time that there is such a possibly an influx of both the male and female energies coming to the earth, but it's really I'm hearing from a lot of our listeners that there's a lot of turbulence in relationships right now.
Well, one of the points that is being driven home to you at this time is that the primary relationship for each and every one of you is with yourself. And when you get into relationships with other people, many times there is a desire to look for energy that one is not flowing within themselves. So let us take the very specific example, the very traditional example of a male being who is running more masculine energy and a female being who is running more feminine energy. And the two of them come together because each of them notices that there is something in the other that they do not feel fully within themselves. And so they come together in a way to compensate for that lack of feeling. And so what is happening now is that all of you are being asked to incorporate both the masculine and the feminine within one being, and that can cause disruption in relationships, and also those relationships where that dependency is occurring must fall away in order for the being to wake up and allow themselves to run both masculine and feminine energies so that they can know themselves as whole beings that seek out other whole beings that want to play the same types of games, the same types of experiences. So that is a very short answer to a very big question about relationships.
Well, thank you so much, creators. Yes, it seems to be a theme that's floating around now. So I thank you so much for clearing that. I'm sure there's that statement had a lot of meaning. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you very much. Very much, not just for that question's answer, not for just each individual answer, but thank you for coming to us, connecting through the channel, Daniel, to be able to come and share your information and energy with us all. It's been a very, very wonderful experience, very energetic experience, and I am very, very grateful that I'm finally able to talk to you after being exposed to so much of your energy previously. It's nice to do this, and we all thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Well, we thank you for creating a forum for those like us to come and play with you in this way.
Well, thank you very much, and we appreciate it, and we send you all of our love.
We love your love, and we reciprocate your love.
Well, thank you very, very much for being with us this evening. We have enjoyed our time to talk to you. And if you can, to connect back to Daniel, because I'd like to talk to him for a moment before we end our evening.
Thank you, creators.
Well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hey. So, I think we had a very, very great conversation, and we thank you for allowing us to connect to that energy through you. It was very, very wonderful. A lot of callers, a lot of great answers. That will beg to the question, when you're done with a channeled session, I know for myself, I end up not very fatigued, but I feel a little more tired than I would before I start. There's a lot of energy being used and brought through my physical body. I could tell you're not very tired. Me and you have talked about this before. It doesn't really tax your physical, but what is your experience like while you're in the channeled state? Are you aware of the information and communication going through? Are you in a deep trance? How does that work with you?
Oh, yeah, I'm very conscious and aware of everything that's being spoken by me and by the questioners. So, yeah, it's a conscious experience, and I feel energy in my body when it's happening. It could be, 'cause Nora and I were talking about this the other day when she was bringing through the Zetas, which she did for the first time, and that was taxing on her body. She felt the effects of that for days afterwards, and it could be related to what dimension of the beings are in that we're connecting to. So obviously, since 12th dimension is a very high frequency, it's lovely energy to connect with. That could be why I feel more energy when I'm done channeling.
Daniel, you're generally a kind of an upbeat or hyper person for the most part.
Upbeat or hyper? Well, I think people who know me
would say that I'm usually very happy and positive, and that I emanate a lot of the love frequency myself, and that's true. And at the same time, I'm just like everybody else. I get I run all the emotions, some more than others, and but it's always my intention to be lighthearted and warm and loving, and to care and show compassion for other people, and I do that to the best of my ability. It's everyone here is a work in progress, so.
That's
right.
True. A lot of people tend to think if you're in spiritual communications or spiritual work that life is 100% easy for you all the time, all the ways. You never get upset, you never get sad, you never get lonely or disconnected. And I always try to tell them we're all humans, we're all going through this experience at once. And that doesn't change regardless of how your vibration is, how easy it is or is not to connect to spirit. So I want to thank you very, very much, Daniel. We appreciate your time with us. We appreciate your effort. Is there anything you want to say to anyone about anything? Just any parting words that you'd like to share? We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I do. What I'm getting lately from the creators a lot of time, and other beings too. I guess I didn't really mention this before, but I started to work with some other beings privately, just for myself, just doing some channeling with no one else around, and so what I'm getting from all the different beings that I'm connecting with is the same message, which is that we've come so far in this process that we're in of evolution and ascension. And, the best thing that we could really do is to just appreciate where we are now and relax, because there's, we do all have our challenges in life, but, we're all doing way better than we give ourselves credit for so much of the time. And I just would love for everyone who's listening to acknowledge themselves for being here and for being as far along as they are, to be listening to material like the Rob and George show and the creators. You're doing something right.
Thank you, Daniel. That's your words express unity, consciousness, and love, and when we have these like-minded communities that people can express themselves with, it really uplifts everyone. And I personally thank you so much for your wonderful messages. I listen to them every day, and the way that you the creators are, and through you, filtered through you, they're spoken in a way where it's very easy to understand, because there's pauses in the message. And I just wanted to thank you so much for being on this evening, and just tell everyone to visit your website and to really dig more deeply into the creators, because there's wonderful messages to be said.
Yes, absolutely, brother, and we thank you again too, Daniel. That's Daniel, www.danielscranton.com for his website. Check out the material on YouTube, friend him on Facebook. Again, thank you very much, and that's why we chose you to come on the show. We only want guests on here that share that common love and light and love for other people and want for them to grow in consciousness. And you, maybe I'm saying this, you reek of that, and that's wonderful. It's not a reek. It's a great thick energy, and you exude that out of every pore, and we thank you so much for that. You're a very great person, and getting to know you personally too has been a great experience. You're the same person you are here as you are off the air. You're just loving and kind, and that's very, very, very great to have shared yourself as well as the connection. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, you have a good evening. Thanks again.
Thank you, Daniel.
Take care, guys. Yep.
All right, take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, we're getting to the end of our show here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we do, we want to run through a few things here real quick. Obviously, the Rob and George show is on every Wednesday, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. This is 6 o'clock Pacific time. You can always call us in whenever you'd like to at 347-308-8788. You can call in, talk to me and George. If there's a guest on, you can talk to them. Every week we're here at that time. Also, you can go through, you can connect to Blog Talk Radio, make an account, and call them through Skype if you don't have a phone or your phone connection, the cellular connection is bad. You can always get a hold of us. We do accept donations because it's a small cost through here, but that's not really that important. Me and George are more than happy to take care of that out of our own pocket if needed to be. On the 9th of next month, October 9th, Wednesday, we will be having Brad Johnson on the show. He's a very great guy. I've known him for a couple of years, had a chance to work with him now for a couple of years. He's a really great guy. Adronis brings through such complex and very mental-based information, very complex, very wonderful information, and I think it's going to be a very, very great connection to him on the 9th.
Great show.
Oh, it will be wonderful. Also, Brad is working with me on that one thing. We talked about that earlier. That's October 27th, the Cosmic Panel, Mind, Body, and Spirit. That will be Brad Johnson, myself, also Wendy Kennedy. Daniel's worked with her. He's talked a lot of good things about her. Her, Nora Harold are very great channelers. They're well known. The information that comes out of both of the channels is wonderful and brilliant, and I'm very, very glad to have a chance to work with her, as I know she's one of my favorites. She's one of the people who have been out there for a long time sending positive, great information to help everybody. So I'm really excited about that. I'll have a video up in 2 days. You can come check that out. I'll explain what the whole thing is, where to go, how to get there, all the details about that. I know we don't have a bunch of time left here. Also, what was the last thing I wanted to talk about, brother? Is there anything in your mind? Oh, the Open Forum 22. Me and George will be doing that soon, and I know we've been saying that for the last couple of weeks, but it's been a real busy couple of weeks. We're going to announce the date and time for that next week on our show. We will have a date and time set up. You guys call in. You ask Treb the questions. George will be the mediator. He'll run the switchboard while I'm channeling. It'll be a wonderful experience. We're going to make it a 2-hour experience, have some conversations up front, me and George talking about our story a little bit, about how we met, talking a little bit about that for the first half hour, and the last hour and a half we'll take Q&As, and then for the end part of the show we'll close it out like that. That will not be a regular Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. That will be here on Blog Talk Radio, though. So keep an eye on the Rob and George Show Facebook page, my Facebook page, George's Facebook page, also my YouTube channel. I'll put up an announcement on there as well. It will be very, very great. You can always friend me, Rob Gauthier at Facebook too. You go there, it's the same picture you're seeing if you're tagged into Blog Talk Radio. I think that's all really that we've got to talk about before we go today, except for the fact that we love you guys so much, and we're so excited to do this. Brother, go ahead and reiterate too why we do this, why we're here for everyone.
Well, you and I, brother, are basically able to create a forum like this so we can entice people of like minds. We're here to spread this unity consciousness, this love, this transformation, as Daniel was saying so eloquently, of being who you are, and where you are in each moment in time is where you need to be, and having the awareness and understanding that you're in that right place, and it really takes a lot of pressure off of you. He said some really wonderful things that really hit home with me about, when people were asking about things that are outside of them, and basically, it's the understanding that it's a reflection of yourself, and the more and more that we can start expanding our consciousness and understanding how this nature of reality works, is when we'll have a much more rapid pace to this awakening. So very blessed to be a part of this, and thank you for our wonderful callers. We had great questions again, and it was really a great night. Thank you, brother.
Well, thank you, brother. You're one of the greatest humans I know, one of the greatest people I know. You are also that love and light that we're trying to exude. And I guess my brain got caught up with the Reek thing, and sorry about it again, Daniel, but it's what we're trying to put out here, that love and light, that connection for everyone. And we thank you guys all so much for being a part of the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. And tonight we have had a great show, a great turnout, great callers, great everything, and we love you guys so much. We're going to sign out now for the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. This is Rob.
And this is George.
And we thank you guys so much. We love you.
Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.